The predator does not always break down the door. In the most sophisticated crimes, brute force is the last resort. The most dangerous predator is the one who knocks, the one who asks to be invited in, the one who hacks the social contract to bypass the lock. We tend to think of the Brothers Grimm fairy tales, the simple morality plays for the nursery. But The Wolf and the Seven Young Kids is something far darker and far more complex. It is not merely a story about a hungry beast and helpless goats. It is a masterclass in social engineering, identity theft, and the terrifying vulnerability of the domestic sphere when the guardian is removed. It is a story about authentication protocols, voice recognition, visual verification, and how easily they can be spoofed by a determined adversary. In the wild, survival depends on strength. In civilization, survival depends on trust. And trust is the easiest thing to weaponize. To understand the stakes, we must look at the economic reality of the setting. The protagonist is an old goat, a matriarch. In the folklore of the 19th century, the goat was off the cow of the poor man. She represents a precarious economic existence. She has 7 mouths to feed and no partner to defend the perimeter. The absence of a father figure is crucial. It creates a power vacuum. To survive, she must leave the fortress. She must go into the forest to forage, a necessity that exposes her most valuable assets, her children, to the market of predators. Before she leaves, she establishes a security protocol. She warns her children against the wolf, explicitly defining his threat profile, his rough voice, and his black feet. These are the biometric markers of the enemy. The children, the gatekeepers of the house, promise vigilance. They believe they can distinguish friend from foe. They are rawed. The wolf is lurking, watching the patterns of the household. He waits for the mother to leave, identifying the window of opportunity. This is not a random attack, it is a targeted strike. He knocks open the door. Dear children, your mother is dead and has brought something back with her for each of you. Note the strategy. He leverages greed and affection. He promises a reward, but the protocol holds. The children hear the rough, guttural voice, the frequency of the wild, and they deny entry. You are our mother, they shout. She has a soft, pleasant voice, but your voice is rough. You are the wolf. Here the narrative shifts from a physical hunt to a psychological operation. The wolf does not rage, he adapts. He goes to a shopkeeper and buys a great lump of chalk. He eats it. Physiologically, this is absurd, but symbolically it is profound. Chalk is a softening agent. The wolf modifies his hardware to alter its output. He suppresses his natural aggression to simulate the soothing tone of the maternal figure. He returns to the door. The auditory authentication is bypassed. The voice matches. But the children, still wary, demand a second factor of authentication. Show us your paws, they demand. The wolf puts his paws on the window ledge. They are black, the undeniable sign of the beast. Access denied. The wolf's next move is the most disturbing element of the entire tale, one unsanitized in modern retellings. He does not solve the problem alone. He goes to a baker and demands dough to cover his paws. Then he goes to the miller and demands white flour to dust them. The miller hesitates. The text explicitly states, the miller thought to himself, the wolf wants to deceive someone, and refused. The miller knows. He understands the fraud being perpetrated, but the wolf threatens him. If you will not do it, I will devour you. The miller complies. This is a critical indictment of society. The miller represents the bystander, the commercial entity that facilitates crime out of fear or apathy. The wolf cannot succeed without the complicity of the civilized world. The flour that whited his paws, the disguise that kills the children, is provided by a human hand. With his voice softened by chalk and his identity masked by flour, the wolf returns for the third attempt. He has spoofed the biometrics. He has bypassed the security protocols. The children see the white paws. They hear the soft voice. The data matches the profile of the mother. They open the door. The breach is instantaneous. The wolf throws off the disguise and reveals his true nature. The description of the panic is visceral. The children scramble to hide under the table, in the bed, in the stove, in the kitchen, in the cupboard, in the washing bowl, and the youngest in the clock case. The wolf is efficient. He does not savor the kill, he swallows them whole. This is an act of goat consumption. He devours the future of the household, one by one. only the youngest, hidden in the clock case, a symbol of time, of the one thing the predator cannot devour, Cervantes. Gorged on his victims, the wolf retreats, not to the deep woods but to a meadow nearby. He falls asleep under a tree. He is arrogant. He believes there are no consequences. He has consumed the assets and now sleeps off the acquisition. The mother returns to a scene of devastation. The door is open. The house is silent. The furniture is overturned. The washing bowl is broken. She calls their names, but there is no answer. Finally, a small voice from the clock case reveals the tragedy. The survivor tells her what happened. The mother does not collapse in passive grief. She transitions immediately into a cold, tactical rage. She takes a pair of scissors, a needle, and thread. These are domestic tools, instruments of creation and repair. But in her hands, they become weapons of war. She finds the wolf sleeping. She observes him. She sees movement in his distended belly. The kids are still alive. This is the horror of the fairy tale logic. They have been swallowed whole, trapped in the darkness of the beast, digested but undying. The mother performs a Phil-Sazerayan section on the sleeping monster. One by one, the 6 children spring out, unharmed. The rescue is miraculous, but the operation is not over. It is not enough to save the victims. The threat must be neutralized. The mother commands the children to fetch great stones. In a grim inversion of the pregnancy she just terminated, they fill the wolf's empty stomach with rocks. She sews him back up. The wolf sleeps through it, sedated by gluttony. When he finally wakes, he feels the weight. He assumes it is the indigestion of his meal. What rumbles and tumbles against my poor bones? I thought it was 6 kids, but it feels like big stones. Thirsty, he goes to the well to drink. The center of gravity has shifted. As he leans over the water, the heavy stones drag him down. He falls in and drowns. The family dances around the well, crying, "The wolf is dead. The wolf is dead." The story serves as a brutal analysis of the predator-prey dynamic in a world of imperfect information. The wolf is the prototype of the confidence man. He succeeds not because he is strong, but because he understands the verification systems of his victims. He knows they rely on sound and sight, so he hacks those specific channels. He understands that the children are programmed to trust the mother, so he becomes the mother. This is Social Engineering 101. In the modern context, this is the deepfake audio used to authorize a bank transfer. It is the phishing email that looks exactly like a message from the CEO. It is the man in the utility uniform asking to check the meter. The role of the miller cannot be overstated. Evil rarely triumphs in isolation. It requires a supply chain. The wolf needed the chalk and the flour. He needed the infrastructure of the town to disguise his nature. The miller choice to collaborate rather than sound the alarm is the breakdown of civil society. It asks a terrifying economic question. How many crimes are facilitated by legitimate businesses that simply look the other way to avoid trouble or woke a sale? The ending of the story offers a stark lesson in justice. There is no trial for the wolf. There is no appeal to a higher authority. The mother acts as judge, jury, and executioner. Her justice is poetic and ironic. The wolf sought to fill his belly with living flesh instead. He dies with the belly full of dead stone. It is killed by his own greed, weighed down by the very thing he sought to consume. The stones represent the burden of his crimes, a weight he literally carries to his grave. Furthermore, the survival of the youngest child in the clock case is deeply symbolic. The clock represents order, time, and the inevitable reckoning. The wolf could consume space, the house, and matter, the children, but he could not consume time. The truth survived in the mechanism of the clock, waiting for the right moment to emerge. Today, the wolf and the 7 young kids resonates more loudly than now in our digital ecosystem. We live in an era where identity is fluid and verification is fragile. We teach our children passwords and safety words. Just as the mother goat taught her kids to look for white paws. But the wolves are getting smarter. They have AI to mimic voices. They have spoofing technology to mask their origins. They have millers who sell them the data they need to breach our firewalls. The story warns us that vigilance is fragile. It tells us that a locked door is as strong as the person who decides to open it. Ultimately, the tale is a testament to the ferocity of the maternal instinct. The wolf made a fatal error. He underestimated the old goat. He saw her only a prey and a provider of food. He did not see her as a surgeon with a pair of scissors. It did not understand that the creator of life is also the most efficient protector of it. When the system fails, when the predator breaches the walls, the story tells us that salvation does not come from the police or the woodcutter. It comes from the ability to cut open the belly of the beast, extract what is yours, and fill the void with the heavy, crushing weight of stone.